So, what if you could have a top-tier AI right on your own computer? I'm talking about one that's smart enough to read images, process huge documents, the whole shebang. Well, that's not science fiction anymore. Let's get right into the tech that makes it happen. Gemma 3.
Okay, check this out. This is a perfect example. The AI isn't just looking at a photo. It's actually reading that receipt. It's understanding every single line item and its price. And then, get this, it does the math for you, calculating the total with an 18% tip. A simple task on the surface, but it shows off some seriously complex stuff going on under the hood.
And this is the model that can do it. Gemma 3. It's the newest family of open models from Google, and it's built to be incredibly versatile. We're talking about a model that can run just as well on a consumer-grade laptop as it can on giant cloud servers. That's a huge deal. So what really makes Gemma 3's such a big step up? Well, it all boils down to 3 huge upgrades that completely change the game. First up, let's talk about how it sees the world. The first big thing you need to know is that Gemma 3 is multimodal. Now, previous versions, they only got text, but this new model can understand both text and images, which, as you can imagine, opens up a whole new universe of possibilities. Let's circle back to that receipt for a second. The reason this works is because of something called a vision encoder, specifically a Google model called SIGLIP. The easiest way to think about it is like giving the AI a pair of eyes. It takes everything it sees in that picture and translates it into a language the AI can understand and reason out, kind of like our brains do. All right, the second major upgrade is all about memory. In the world of AI, this is called the context window. You can pretty much think of it as the AI's short-term memory for whatever task it's working on. And you guessed it, the bigger that window, the more stuff it can keep track of at once. And Gemma 3's context window is absolutely massive. We're talking 128,000 tokens. To give you some perspective, that's enough to feed it hundreds of pages of a report, or an entire code base, or just a really, really long conversation, and it won't forget what you talked about at the beginning. This isn't a small step up, it's a giant leap. Now, usually, when you pack in more power and a bigger memory, you need a beast of a machine to run it, right? But this is where Gemma 3 gets really, really smart. It has a clever trick up its sleeve to handle all this power without demanding a ton of resources. This chart from the technical report shows the magic. See that red line? That's the old way of doing things. As you feed it more information, the memory usage just skyrockets. But Gemma 3's new architecture, this cool hybrid of local and global attention, keeps that line incredibly low and flat. That right there is the secret sauce to its efficiency and speed. Okay, so it's got all these shiny new upgrades, but how smart is it really? How does it actually stack up against the competition? Let's take a look at the tests. This here is the LMSYSS Chatbot Arena leaderboard. And trust me, this is a big deal. It's not about some abstract benchmark. It ranks models based on thousands of blind, head-to-head battles judged by actual humans. And as you can see, the 27 billion parameter version of Gemma 3 is right up there, holding its own against much larger, closed proprietary models. And these charts really help visualize the jump in power. On the left, you've got its predecessor, Gemma 2. On the right, Gemma 3. You can literally see the huge expansion in its capabilities. The team measured major gains all around, especially in tough areas like reasoning, fact-checking, and understanding different languages. This is not just a minor update, it's a whole new level. And if we drill down into the hard numbers from the technical report, it gets even more impressive. Just look at that math score for the 9 billion parameter model. It jumps from 19.4 all the way to 54.5. That's nearly a 3 times improvement in its ability to handle complex math. And we see similar big jumps in general knowledge and coding too. Of course, when you create a model that's this powerful and make it available to everyone, you have a massive responsibility to do it right. So let's look at the safety measures that are baked right into Gemma 3's core. When you dig into their approach, it's pretty clear that safety isn't just some final item on a checklist. It's woven through the entire process. From filtering sensitive data out of the training set from the very beginning to constantly stress testing the model for any potential harms. It's a really comprehensive framework for a responsible release. Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute and talk about the big picture. Why is it so important that a model like this is open? Why does that matter? This quote from the research paper really says it all. By releasing powerful models openly, The whole point is to democratize access to this amazing technology. It lets researchers, developers, and startups from anywhere in the world build on the latest and greatest advancements.
And that really gets to the core difference, doesn't it? Closed models are like black boxes, controlled by one company. But open models? They encourage transparency, they supercharge research, and they build a global community where everyone can innovate and everyone can benefit.
And that all leads us to one final, really exciting question. We're now putting tools that are unbelievably powerful into the hands of creators everywhere. The next great wave of innovation, it's just getting started. So the only real question left is, what are we going to build next?